All right, hello everybody. We're back to Braid. We're gonna see what Casey next.
Yep.
I might as well save. Damn, and I don't have my save before the whatever. It does not like that matters because if I were to get off, I would have to redo everything else.
Yeah.
Too. Casey. And then just don't go through any doors.
Go all the way to the right until you
Boring.
see a door with numbers on it again, I guess.
I'm Soldier Boy.
You are Soldier Boy. And I'm proud of you.
Sorry, what inspired Braid? Speech? Get out of
This
here.
is Martin Luther King.
This is a disgusting amount of commentary. Get over yourself.
It's insane. I can't believe it.
One here, okay. Then how get there?
Can't do it. It's a trick.
Okay.
Bye.
I'm going home.
Scoot, how did you and Adam meet? IDK if I've ever heard me mention it. You have, but I'll tell you again. We met at Rainforest 2012. Obama was in the White House on the eve of his re-election, and we found ourselves on the same side of a glory hole, and it was a hilarious mix-up, and we've been friends ever since. But how did you met? That is how we met. We were introduced by a mutual friend. He was like, you both like movies, you should talk to each other. And we're like, fine, we'll fucking talk to each other. And we're still just talking to each other just to appease that one guy 12 years ago.
So how am I gonna get to that other door over there?
We got 3 more years of Rainforest after that. Me and Adam meeting did not immediately cancel Rainforest. It took a
Unlike
little bit.
Gael's brownie review.
Unlike Gael's brownie review.
Maybe I have to listen to the
There's
commentary
an idea
first.
that I tend to have about games, which is the
Okay, I jumped
following.
Sonics. That didn't work.
You can just do some stuff, and it's
You
just
tried
kind of
jump?
random and not coherent, and that's not very good. Right? And so one of the ways that you do to fix that is you establish a pattern that people can understand, either consciously or subconsciously. In this game, it's that things are about time, and here's how long the worlds are, and there's a dinosaur at the end, and all of that.
Right. 12 puzzle pieces, put them together, et cetera, et cetera.
And that gives you, I don't know what the right language is, but there's some kind of value to that.
Yeah, 2 months. I
There's
love
an
your
amount
videos less
of
than
good
3.
games.
Thank
you
you,
get out of that
because
approach.
It's like a
Snickers.
predictability of some aspect of the game.
It's not a
Yes.
not a
Helps
fast
hold it
one.
together, I guess, in a way.
You gotta really take your time with
but
that
it's
username.
deeper and subtler than that.
Okay.
Right? There are many aspects to it. Right?
Okay.
All sorts of things like that.
So how do I get there? Can someone tell me how to get to the content, please?
I can't take any more commentary.
Comes from them understanding
There's
what the hell is
gotta
expected from them.
Right,
be
right.
And all sorts of things like that.
something.
Yes.
Because
So-
you can't
Head right
really...
until you
This is
find a
where
Goomba up a
value
ladder
comes from.
and bounce on it
And
to the what?
you could be more good
it's
or
gotta
less
On the
do
left
something
platform,
with
bounce
that
on its
establishing those
replacement to
patterns
reach the
and
further.
sticking to them
Oh,
consistently.
like here?
If you don't establish the pattern solidly enough, even if you
Yeah.
as a designer think that they're there, the players won't realize that they're there, and they won't work as well as you would think. Now, suppose you do a good job establishing those patterns and following those patterns.
Nice.
Then what? Is there more value to get after that?
Oh! Oh my God!
And
Oh
I
God!
think the answer is
Oh!
yes.
Oh!
Because
Oh!
once you've
Oh!
established a pattern, there
do
is
that
now
to me.
surprise in breaking the pattern.
Okay.
Now what?
And
So,
breaking the
gotta do
pattern is
something with
not
this guy, but
coherent
what?
if you have not
How
established
do you
the
do it
pattern,
and not
because
kill him?
it just seems like randomness.
Okay.
Do you let
But
him
once the
kill
pattern
you?
Is there, if you break it, then it's an extra moment that the player gets to have on top of what they have already.
There is
had.
an invisible platform, apparently.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you, John. Ugh. Where? Where's the invisible plat? Where? You saw it? No, you didn't. Shut up.
I seen it. I seen it. Yep.
Hey.
Right around there.
Drop? What do you mean drop down? Why am I up here then? People told Sonics, I'm not listening to you.
But he's been so useful today. You're gonna have to deal with it, CJ Prawat.
Jump on the Goomba around the middle. Okay. Oh,
Oh my god.
secret platform up.
Up.
More commentary.
This is
This is so stupid. Oh, star puzzles.
puzzles.
I'm having a little bit of a hard time understanding why you described the star.
This has the
puzzle
cloud
This
rant.
has the cloud rant.
as
Okay.
Oh,
hard
okay. We get to hear him rant about
rather
it.
than obscure, because to me, like, I don't know that I would necessarily say they were hard in the way
It's
that
not
a difficult
hard to wait an hour and a
programming
half
problem
for a
is
thing to happen,
hard.
but it
Well,
is
okay.
annoying.
When you don't even know that something is there, I wouldn't
he
necessarily
getting called
say
out
that
now?
was hard.
But they're both.
Okay.
So on the one hand, they are obscure. You don't even know where they are. You don't know they exist until you find one.
Yeah.
Some of them are not strictly harder than some puzzles in the game, but other ones very much are. Other ones are very much about going into this territory that I spoke about avoiding before, of having puzzles be relatively longer sequences of things that you have to do. Some of these are like that. So for example, on the level called elevator action.
Mm-hmm. And
Yes.
then
I have to click another one now.
the elevator action start.
Do I have to go through?
I think so. I think
Do I
you
have to go
listen
through here to hear the
every
cloud thing?
Single fucking commentary.
Do I actually have to go? Am I able to get back here if I go through here? I must be able to, right? Signing up for the special forces. Hey!
If they're a little bit different, if they're doing things that are a little bit absurd. So one of the most famous star puzzle, right, that people love to complain about.
Yeah.
I'm sure I know what this one is.
It's the
yeah.
one where you have to ride on a cloud for an hour and a half. Actually, no, that's not correct. You have to wait for a cloud for 45 minutes to get to where you can jump on it. And then you have to ride it for another 45 minutes.
Oh, so it's
or
really
so,
just 2 shots of 45. That's okay.
to get to the star. That's not that hard, but it's like pushing at the boundaries of the space in a way that
You think?
is not totally acceptable in polite company.
Yes.
But like when you're hanging
I
out
love
with
him.
your buds,
He's like a Lars von Trier type.
you can do more of that stuff, right?
Sure.
Sure. He says in an effort to avoid further explanation.
Oh, might as well see some of these.
Another one that I'm thinking of on this level called Fickle Companion.
That's me.
It's World 4. It's just very explicitly
Oh.
a longer
Okay.
sequence of things that you have to do to get to where the star is. And that was intentional. It was like, okay, because these are secret and because these are things that dogged players are going to find, they can be a little
How
more
about
messy.
catted
They can be
players?
a little bit harder. I can play around with that, and it'll also be what makes them feel different from the rest of the game, right? If you have secret puzzles, but they're like the same as the non-secret puzzles,
Then fuck that.
you know, it's a little bit interesting because they were secret, you had to find them, but it's the same kind of thing. Whereas if they're a little bit different, if they're doing things that are a little bit absurd. So one of the most famous star puzzle.
Do it. Oh.
So if I may mine the answer to my question out of that answer,
I don't know what else to
which
say
is
about
still
this,
an
man.
answer to
Fuck!
a different
No more
question. I
questions.
think
I
you
don't get
did answer the question inside there.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that I'm right
Okay.
about the answer. You said you discover this thing and it's kind of a little magic. It's like, oh, there's this other thing I didn't know about that was in the game. I take it that's really the answer to my question about why obscurity. The answer is because you could have had a door that's like hardcore Space Marines go through the hardcore Space Marine door and nobody else go through there.
Go on.
right? And that would be another way to have it, right?
If you
But
do that,
It's a silly way to frame it.
it seems more like part of the main game, right? It's like, well, this
Yeah.
is advanced. It says it's advanced,
yeah,
but it's here. So if I'm really good,
right,
I should go through the door.
right.
And it's more part of the normal play experience. So hiding it makes it more exceptional and more extra and more
I'm more
like,
extra.
You don't really have to do this to have a complete experience with
Okay.
the game as a civilian.
Okay, so
How
it's
about as an
less
officer?
Well, it might be partially about making it feel magical to find, but also maybe it's a little bit The Last Starfighter.
What?
You've created these secret stars
Yeah.
to find the players who would want to engage with the stars,
Yes.
if you will.
Wait,
That
and then
is
if I
not a
do,
bad
I
way
get to
think of it.
be
Or-
a
Or
spaceman?
similarly, but differently, like, what's the closest thing to an actual good secret society that you could have?
Yeah, yeah.
Skull and
Right?
Bones, Yale, George W.
It's
Bush.
not like you put a big billboard in the
You
center
get to
of
jerk off into a
town,
coffin. It's awesome.
Come do our
Yes.
wacky rituals in the room or
Right.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
But something like this is like, oh, everybody who knows, I mean, ignoring for a fact that we're unfortunately in this world with YouTube and all that.
Ah,
where
dang
you
it.
can go and spoil it.
So
for
now
yourself.
everyone knows, but
Well, surprisingly though, not really,
Right,
because you know, there's a lot of things on YouTube, right?
Right.
Goddamn
But
YouTube.
yes.
for the
if you-
first 48 hours, those
Well,
people...
the first 48 hours
Or-
was when you
I
have
mean,
to find a
even
missing
now, if
person.
somebody
Otherwise,
picks
they're
up the
probably
game and
murdered
plays
after
it,
that.
They're unlikely to know about this unless they listened explicitly to something that spoiled them on it.
Right.
So it's still intact, I think, the possibility. And even back then, you know, the internet was not exactly what it
Why
is
was the
today,
internet
but the
capitalized?
was the game was distributed.
It's like
internet
God.
only. So this
Yeah.
was known to be a property of the internet at release, and
Yep.
it was just like, okay, I'm still going to do the best that I can do within that constraint.
I mean,
talk.
he justifies himself well enough. Like, I understand.
But that doesn't really answer my question. So just to be more specific, like I said, I was trying to differentiate between hard and obscure. And the reason I'm asking that is because when I asked why these were put in the game, you said you were interested in having a layer of the game that was harder. While I can
Okay.
make up
No, I
answers to the
understand the question.
I can imagine answers to this question, but I want to hear your actual answer, which is it seems like you also wanted obscurity to be part of it, not just difficulty, because those are different things.
Well, here's what I will say: like more challenging and difficult to achieve the full secret thing, like
Mhm.
getting all of them,
Mhm.
was part of the picture from the beginning, right? Which may or may not mean that any specific puzzle is way hard or not, right? So the cloud one isn't that hard, although you do have to figure something out that's kind of subtle with it.
Mhm.
That also, by the way, is pretty tweaky in a way that I wouldn't do. Like even getting on the cloud is a thing that how it works, I just wouldn't consider acceptable for a regular puzzle in the game.
Although
So part of what I'm really
one
doing
of the
is-
puzzles was
it's hard,
basically
so
a star
I'm
puzzle
taking
that,
you on
you
a
know.
tour of stuff.
One of the
If
regular
you go
puzzles
into
was
this part of
basically a
the
star
game,
puzzle.
You kind of signed up for it, right?
Mhm.
You signed up for something a little bit outside the normal part of the game. And this is where, so sometimes people give hate for this part of the game on the internet or whatever, but it's almost never people who actually found it, right? It's like, oh, I went on the YouTube video that tells me how to get the stars and it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
And so your game sucks. Or it doesn't work.
He's funny.
Whereas if you find this piece of magic and then you're like, oh my God, where are the other things and how do I do this? You are opting in to this experience that is at the borders of the game, literally and figuratively. Okay, so you're going beyond the regular game a little bit.
Yeah.
So you're signing up for the special forces in some
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
Right? And so we can do things because you signed up for that we can't do for most people.
I'm a tier 1 operator.
And maybe you're interested in things because you're a little more of a gamer that most people are not.
Is he a pretentious asshole?
So one
Probably,
dimension of that is hard.
you know, a little, but
another dimension of that
if
is
he wasn't,
maybe
we
it's a
wouldn't
little
be
more
getting
difficult
like
to
really
see.
interesting things.
That's true.
And which
That's
is a
what
different
this
kind of
produces.
difficulty. It's interpretive difficulty rather than execution difficulty, right? And maybe another one is just, you know, with the long cloud thing, it's like being a little bit more absurd in a way that, like if that were the first puzzle in the game that everybody had to play, nobody would get to the second puzzle in the game, right?
Right.
But at the end, for people who signed up for it, it's better. And it also just has
It's
natural
better.
properties that are good. Like the fact that there's a cloud sitting there is a big mystery. And the fact that there's a callback to it, only understood by some small percentage of people who get through it, is pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. So there's some picture like that.
Does the callback
So
move?
when I said harder, it's sort of two different
No.
things. It's that the experience itself is more difficult, and I don't expect most people
Yeah, I'd
to
rather
finish from a good
have like a
start,
pretentious,
but it is
interesting person
also
than,
that it's okay for
Oh, sure.
individual puzzles to be harder.
you know,
Those
an
are
unpretentious,
correlated, but they're different.
non-interesting
Yeah.
person.
But it also doesn't mean it's necessary for them to be harder.
I think that like to a degree, like if you're making things that go really outside the grain, against the grain, outside.
I was going to say, you've mixed the number of metaphors.
Yeah, you know, outside the world
The
ball.
Against the bun.
Then I think you necessarily have to think that you're someone doing something different for a reason.
Yeah, for sure.
So you would have your own justifications for that, right?
Oh, this is Ratchet over here,
And I'm
then this
Clank.
game- what's the Insomniac? Crash Bandicoot, whatever. Link's the
That's so funny.
Timesweeper is a mascot platformer with rewind that I
Yes.
think came out after I had started Braid, or maybe slightly before.
I think it may have came out during
Was
during
great.
Braid production. Yeah.
Certainly well before Braid was done. And all of these games are kind of trying to do the same thing. They're polished. They're designed by committee to make money by living in this aesthetic zone of the mascot platformer that is well understood, appeals to kids.
Yep.
Adults can still play it. You can sell toys
Yeah.
based on the mascot, and you
Right.
can make a franchise out of it.
We just got some guy.
Yeah, we just got
So
Tim.
walk away from all of those bullet points, and where do you end up? Right? You can actually use those as points in space, and instead of an attractor field, put a repeller field on it. Right.
Just don't go anywhere near
Yeah.
where that would be.
Now the
Yeah.
problem is, without an attractor point somewhere, what that ends up being is repelling you arbitrarily out into space
Yes.
in all directions.
Right.
So you have to have attractor points.
Yes.
But if those are my
And that
repeller
attractor
points,
point,
and I have other attractor
guys
points,
named Tim.
personal,
It's
Yes.
funny how much everybody in chat hates
uses-
Jonathan.
this idea of weird physics as an
I think it's
analog
really
to
interesting.
He's not
I
making
get the hate. I
scale,
understand the hate. Don't worry. But I
paradoxes of existence.
love him.
He's not
So-
making a ton of new friends in chat.
Based around the mechanic.
Just
has
too
this
bad.
Inverse illustrated storybook, like all these ideas were things that I wanted to do, and so I had
the best art comes from
and
weirdos.
the things I didn't want
Absolutely.
to do, and that together was enough. That still isn't a concrete game idea, but it was enough to create.
Oh,
some
way less
feel
annoying
that
than
I
Phil
could
Fish, yeah.
navigate very easily.
Phil Fish was in indie game, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
he did Fez.
Okay.
Is Trinity at all a touch point here? Because when I said I wouldn't even know what art game was, and I said I wrote that Game Rants thing, I had never played Trinity.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that if I thought pretty hard about it, I really wouldn't find anything else. But that game does kind of stand out, and you have referenced it, so I'll quickly ask, is that at all in your mind on this one, or is that more a Witness thing later on? Like are you thinking of like, oh wait, no, I do know there was an art game once a long time ago
Yeah.
or something, or did you kind of have forgotten about it at this point and it comes back up later?
Well, no, I feel like there were several art games in the 80s.
Oh really?
Well, Trinity was the one that meant the most to me. Like, it was my exemplar of an art game.
Okay.
Like, it can use fiction as a model
Mm-hmm.
for how to do this thing that you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
of having realizations take place in your mind
Mm-hmm.
and not on the screen, right? So there are very well chosen things in that game, just these elements around the game, like what's in the world and what do you deal with and under what circumstances, right? And that's along the lines, like some of the meaning that is evident there is along the lines of the kind of thing that you would learn badly in English class or whatever, but it's like the better version of it, right? And the game never says, hey, did you get it?
Right.
By the way,
Yeah.
this thing means that.
Yes.
Firstly,
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to speak for him, but
I
at
will.
least for two reasons, right? One reason is because that removes agency from you, and it removes, even if
Which
you
I don't want to
get it
do.
the
I want to
first
remove
time,
agency from other people.
part of replayability is that you can go back to something and get something new out of it. And if I just like told you the thing, firstly, it prevents you from having that experience of getting the new thing. But secondly, you get an inferior realization of it. And because these things are complex and subtle and multidimensional, and when there are just elements and it's your job to build the connective tissue between them in your mind,
Yes.
that connective tissue can be quite delicate. And
Right.
you may not even know how to put it into words. And in fact, the author may not know how to put it into words without
Right.
messing it up or making it more coarse or destroying it.
Right.
And that is really, there's this idea of fine art, right? And I
Right.
feel like that's part of fine art is it's not just skill, but there's something there that you can say that it's not just that you're choosing to say it in this medium, it's that you couldn't say it not in the medium.
Yes.
And Trinity has that, and very few games have
I
that.
should play Trinity.
I am unfamiliar with Trinity.
Yeah, and maybe all that's left to say about that is that
Sonics,
I've
that's
had
not
some
difficult to
picture
understand.
the whole time. I don't know if I realized this was directly from Trinity. I think I just knew that Trinity was this really good art game that I enjoyed. But I've, way longer than I've been in games, like back when I wrote fiction and stuff, I definitely had this aesthetic of there are things I'm trying to get at. They're hard to
He's not
express.
talking nonsense.
And so you maybe express them by demarcating the space around
You're speaking
them
insane
to
things.
sort of make the negative space image or
That
the silhouette
makes
of them or
no
something, and
sense.
people can pattern match on that and
Right.
and get something out of it that they wouldn't be able to get if you just clumsily scribbled it in crayon.
Right.
I am not a practitioner of Zen, but there's a Zen parable. It's like someone's going to the master and asking for enlightenment, and he keeps pointing at the moon,
Okay.
right? And the guy's like, so what? What's so special about your finger, right? Because he keeps looking at the finger,
I
right?
see.
Where the job of the finger is to indicate something far away,
I see.
right? And the less of a finger you put, the less likely somebody is gonna like fixate on that.
On the finger. Okay.
Now that said, the atomic bomb stuff in Braid is a very
Yes.
strong signal that many people fixate on. And
Yeah.
had I realized how strong that fixation would be, I might have tuned it differently.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, for my first big, like, trying to be an art game, right? All these previous projects we talked about were not trying to be this kind of art.
Right.
And it's interesting that it took me a while to get there, but when I get there, I already knew what I was doing. So
Yeah.
obviously this had been percolating for a long time, but
Yeah.
like Wolfram was not an art game in this way. It was just like, I'm going to try and have smart game design
Right.
and do a challenging technical thing. But that example of Trinity rode with me the whole time and came out later, 20 years later or whatever.
I'm gonna have to look up Trinity.
Yeah. Came out in 1986. It's an interactive fiction game.
Yeah, remind me to check that out at some point. Grip! Okay.
Can't do that. Can do that.
Very slow.
Ah! You're never getting back. You're so fucked.
How?
Oh, you got this fucking guy.
Okay, so I gotta like kill them before they get in there, maybe. Hit the lever and wait an hour and a half. Coming for you. But then how do I still can't get there.
No.
Bap!
In Soviet Russia, monster bonks you.
He did a monster bonk. He did a bonk. It was a graveyard donk. Oh, maybe... I wonder if the lever on the right maybe influences what's happening on the left.
He did the fuck. He did the monster fuck. He did the fuck. It was a graveyard fuck.
Ow, my knee. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
And then I do this,
Uh-huh.
then something might happen
And
over
then
here.
something happens. And... bonk.
I wonder what that does.
That stuff below you. I guess, maybe.
All right, we'll see what's happening here in a second.
See what it's cooking up.
Oh, Jonathan.
J-Blow.
Defend the hole? Yeah, it might be, actually. I'm just going to check what's stopping me when I get down here. Because I think they're going to...
You should always defend the hole.
Yeah. So now I can't get it because all those boys are down there.
Blow J. Simpson, I like that. I guess J-Blow would be
So
the
before I start,
couple's name of Jennifer Lopez and
I'm just gonna
Blofeld
see
from James Bond.
when I hit this one,
Yeah.
only the top one moves. So I have to hit both of them.
Yes.
I will fucking kill you.
No. 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 Maybe.
Yes.
Yes.
Can I make it? So if any of them are down there, I can't do it. This is interesting. Okay. Ah! No! Can't believe I have to go back. Ugh.
So Trinity is a text-only adventure game.
Well, shit. You fuck!
AKA a fucking book.
Oh, wait.
I got all day.
Yeah, whatever. That was a bad idea. So now I should move that anyway because that's making this go slower. Yes. Come on. Oh, you motherfucker. Alright. Now this will go. Ah! Ow.
Mm.
And then I should theoretically have enough time if I just run right down after this. That one's taken forever. Yeah, I should have enough time. Fuck.
Mm.
There we go.
Mm. Here we go. 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 Rolling.
Go, go,
rolling,
go, go,
rolling.
go, 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 go.
Up,
Oh, yeah!
Frame perfect.
I like how the thing is showing up there more slowly. Oh, that was cool. I'm enjoying the new levels. All right.
And
Whew. Thank you,
everything
Sam
that
Shorts
comes
and
with
stuff. Okay. Now,
Uh-huh.
where to? Now we go
Just,
Mark 10 Bosch.
I don't like that as a name. Lowercase 10. Mark lowercase 10 Bosch.
These are excerpts from an interview.
What are you,
by
fucking
Mark Ten
Dutch?
Bosch. Mark has been a friend of mine for quite a number of years now.
Shut up.
I met
You don't
him
have
when
friends.
he first started working on his four-dimensional game Miega
What?
Kure, which he is still working on.
And will
He's
be
one of
for the
few
rest of his
people
life
who
because he's an
really
insane
understand
person.
the kind of design that I do at a deep level, so it was an interesting conversation.
I wanted to add a Bizarro emote, and I just learned that I have to be a Twitch partner to do that fucking bullshit. Ain't that some shit, Gaston Jabri?
Stop.
Bizarro, I love you.
Okay, how do I do this?
You can't stand on those doors, right?
No.
So, is it some sort of thing where you arrive at it from above?
Yeah, where it's a secret
Or it's a secret?
area. No.
I have a secret area. Mark 10. I've never seen 10 uncapitalized as like a part of a name. I've seen Van, I've seen Vaughn, I've seen Durr, but 10? Not even 1 through 9?
What the? Do I wait on the cloud? Do I wait on the cloud?
God, I hope so. Please. Clue
It's just one screen to the right. Yeah, well, I didn't
Clue
see how to get to the thing.
Eh.
All right, here we are. A screen to the right.
Uh-huh.
How do I get there? Genius. How do I get there? Hmm? Oh, I can... Wait. No, it's not making me green. Triple bounce on the green guy because you can stay in the air and he'll respawn. No, he won't respawn. I can't. How?
Nah.
Oh, wait.
Wait.
If I... Oh, okay. Stay in the air by hitting rewind. Okay.
Girl.
Fuck!
No.
That's the right idea, though.
Great idea. Dog shit execution.
Oi!
Yeah.
Thank you. It's such a... It feels so disorienting doing this.
This level is new for the anniversary
What?
edition.
Were the others not?
Toward the end, as we were tightening things up, I went back and revised this level in a small but nice way.
Ooh, I
that
love
seems
small
fun
but
to
nice.
Talk about here.
I have many small but
Here's
nice
the
parts.
original design. Note that there's
Okay.
a hole here just to the right of the rewind exemption platform.
You filled the hole?
That was there because if there's no hole, you can get on the platform and rewind to the beginning and then let go of rewind, which would cause you to be stuck in the closed off portion of the level. Yes, the player could go to the menu and exit the level that way, but this is bad form.
A hole's a hole.
Especially
It is
when
bad
adding
form.
a level to Braid, which never trapped you like this. The tiny gap on the left is there just so that the monster turns around and doesn't leave the tunnel. He stays in there to block you from getting the puzzle piece. And if he came out, you could jump over him, leaving him alive, and get in there. That tunnel is just tall enough to walk in, but not jump, because if you could jump, then you could kill the monster in there, which ruins the puzzle. If the gap on the left were wider, you'd need to jump to get across it, so it has to be tiny. Since I couldn't make the gap on the left wider, I added the gap on the right, which has to be inside the vault door, so that you can get out if you rewind the door shut. But I hated doing this because I wanted the level to be focused around this room that is an enclosed space that is defined by one door or the other being shut. And adding a gap makes it seem less like an enclosed space. I tried a few alternatives back then and just couldn't figure anything out. So I gave up and called it finished with the gap there on the right. In the revised version, I realized that I could use a short ladder that you can drop down but not climb up, which should have been obvious to me before, but just wasn't. I positioned this ladder so that it's symmetric with the ladder on the right, and tweaked the size of the central platform to work better with the graphics that had been added. Then we revised the art to add a background for the central room to make it feel with the ladder on the right, and tweaked the size of the central platform to work better with the graphics that had been added. Then we revised the art to add a background for the central room to make it feel more closed. I am much happier with this revised level, not only because it better emphasizes the closedness of the room, but because it removes an annoying asymmetry that the player might trip over. You had to jump over that hole to get to the central platform, and there's a cannonball coming, so you have to worry about that at the same time. And why? It's just a dumb escape hole that the player probably doesn't even need. It would have been one improvement just to replace this hole where it was with the drop-down ladder. But it's 2 improvements to also then combine that ladder with the monster gap on the left. In doing so, we have turned 2 points of interest into just 1, which simplifies the level and reduces the number of places the player puts attention. The more you can simplify the level, the stronger it will be. These changes might not seem like a big deal, but iterated improvements of this kind are often the difference between an okay game and a really good game.
Thanks, blow guy.
Blowman. Jonathan Blowman. My father was a blowman. His father was a blowman.
Oops. Ah! Go!
Goal! Huh?
Damn it. How does this work? So I want that to kill the boy.
Destroy the child.
Well, I killed one. But he's probably gonna... Yeah. But
But
I can probably sit here
yeah.
and then have him die again. Yeah.
Yep. Oh boy.
Fuck.
Gah.
Fuck! Come on!
Come on. Shelly, come on.
Yes!
Hey!
Ugh. And that was that.
Success.
All right, where's the next one?
Probably in Brian. Seeing as it's
Inside Brian.
You gotta go inside Brian sometimes. I've been. It was great.
Yeah, beat. I'll be right back.